Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome in to King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois. I'm Tim Calderwood. So glad to have you alongside. We've got consolation action between the University of Dubuque and St. Mary's University out of Minnesota in this, the very first Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Hanover defeated Dubuque yesterday 65-57, while Wheaton upended St. Mary's 77-67, and thus both of these teams are in the consolation round today. This tournament ended up being a pretty strong tournament, all things considered. Going into yesterday, the four teams had combined for just 7 losses. So you knew some losses were going to be on tap throughout the course of the weekend, of course. But very good numbers in terms of wins and losses entering this weekend. We're going to turn things over now to the public address announcer as we get ready for the start of the contest today. He'll introduce you to the starting lineups between Dubuque and St. Mary's.
Game number 3 of the 2019 Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Today's first game features the University of Dubuque Spartans and the Cardinals from St. Mary's University. Here are the starting lineups. First for the Spartans of the University of Dubuque. Number 2, a 5'10" junior from Cedar Rapids, Iowa, Mitch Berger. A 6-foot-even sophomore from Bellevue, Iowa, number 15, Cade Doherty. Number 32, a 6'2" junior from Belvedere, Illinois, Lucas Harper. A 6'4" junior from Orland Park, Illinois, number 33, Peter Reagan. And number 35, a 6'5" junior from Bolingbrook, Illinois, Justin Smith. The Spartans are coached by Robbie Sieverding. Here are the starters for the Cardinals from St. Mary's University. Number 1, a 5'11" senior from Minneapolis, Kevin Gleason. A 6'7" junior from St. Paul, Minnesota, number 2, Eli Cave. Number 3, a 5'11" sophomore from Minneapolis, Sean Pickford. A 6'5" junior from Phelps, Wisconsin, number 10, Sawyer Rosner. And number 12, a 6'4" junior from Chicago, Kareem Anthony Bello. The Cardinals are coached by Joe Fano. The officials for this afternoon's game, Terry Murphy, Randall Wells, and Mark Witzke.
So the starting lineups, once again in this one for Dubuque, Mitch Berger, Cade Doherty, Lucas Harper, Peter Reagan, and Justin Smith. For St. Mary's, Kevin Gleason, Eli Cave, Sean Pickford, Sawyer Rosner, and Kareem Anthony Bello. Both teams have a lot of Chicago area connections. For St. Mary's, that starts with their head coach, Joe Fano, who has spent time in the Chicago area. He's a Chicago native. He coached at Benedictine University, was part of that team who went to the national championship game undefeated in 2016. He then ended up at North Park, where he spent 2 years as the associate head coach. They also have a little bit of a pipeline developing into DePaul College Prep in the city. And it'll be St. Mary's who opens with possession. They're in the home whites, traveling left to right as you view at home. Kevin Gleason, Eli Cave, Sean Pickford, Sawyer Rosner, Kareem Anthony Bello, the 5. Gleason looks for the cutting Cave, who finishes with the easy left hand. Biggest key for St. Mary's today is going to be to get off to a better start. Yesterday, St. Mary's in the contest, they were stuck on 2 points until there was after 8 minutes to go. And they'll force a quick turnover here as well. Fell behind 19-2 to Wheaton. Came back, lost by 10, but they were just 1 for their first 16 from the field. And they make their first shot here today to take the early lead. Kareem Anthony Bello gives it off to Gleason, the Minneapolis native, into the corner for Eli Cave. Back up high, Gleason draws iron with the 3. Cave keeps it alive, however. Cave is really becoming an elite player in the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference. That's where St. Mary's plays. Up and under move, Pickford. And Dubuque comes away looking to run as well. Peter Reagan runs into Cave. Working on him. Right-handed hook shot too strong. Cave fights for the rebound. In possession is Sawyer Rosner. They mentioned Joe Fano and the job that he has done at St. Mary's. They play, as I said, in the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference, and in his first year, he broke a couple of very long losing streaks. They lost 27 conference games in a row, and they lost 35 games in a row on the road against Gustavus, along with a 19-game road losing streak overall. They are entering today with a record of 6-2. Harper bounces into the block for Justin Smith. Smith, strong arms, and scores over the top of Cave. Low post move for Justin Smith, a Chicago area native. Dubuque is about 3 hours away. They are in the northwest corner of Iowa and play in the American Rivers Conference. Their head coach is Robbie Sieverding. Three-pointer is good from Sawyer Rosner, and a big start for St. Mary's, leading 5-2 on the board. Here's Berger falling to the hardwood. Ball's on the ground. They're going to signal for a jump, and the arrow is with Dubuque. But already this looks like a much different team for St. Mary's than what we saw early yesterday. And they've been very impressive this year. Look, this team had won one game prior to the arrival of Joe Fano. They finished 8-17 last year. This is where I talk about at the beginning of the program how there was a combined 7 losses between all 4 teams. Well, they were off to a 6-1 start before that loss yesterday. Harper tries the 3, and it'll spin its way through. Now, in the interest of full disclosure here, I have relationships with both head coaches in this ball game. Myself, I work at Benedictine University. Joe Fano was the assistant coach there before he went on to North Park, and now the head man at St. Mary's. And St. Mary's athletic director is Brian Sisson, who was an assistant athletic director at Benedictine as well. Pickford pulls up baseline right. Doherty breaks it away for Dubuque in the blue uniforms, traveling right to left. Meanwhile, Robbie Sieverding, who's been the head coach at the University of Dubuque for an extended period of time, outlet ahead to Gleason, easy finish on a great skip pass from Eli Cave. So he and I went to grad school together in Dubuque. Go figure, right? And Robbie Sieverding is going to refresh his lineup here. The ball will stay with Dubuque. Reagan pleads his case, trying to say he was held up in the post. And one of the things that Dubuque was doing yesterday is kind of multiple subs at the same time. They had a 2-game win streak come to an end yesterday. Into the corner it goes for the newly entered Keegan Zimmerman. He'll work down low. And a foul drawn by Henry Thompson, another Chicago area native out of Plainfield. Brock Simon has entered the lineup for Dubuque. The only holdover from the starting 5 was Mitch Berger. Free throw is good. Dylan Hundley is out as well from Comanche, Iowa. And that one falls in. So we talked a lot about Joe Fano. How about the success of Robbie Sieverding, who I mentioned went to grad school with him. He took over at Dubuque as the head man in 2007, 2008. And all he's done during his tenure is have only one losing season. That's it. An impressive run. They did finish 6th in the American Rivers Conference last year. Cave is stood up by Simon defensively. That's a little bit of a mismatch in the post, but Simon played about 3 inches taller than he looks. Good hesitation underneath, waiting for it as Hundley as his defender bites, and Dubuque takes the lead at 9-7. Dubuque won the Iowa Conference title in 2015-2016. And again, the Iowa Conference has transformed into the American Rivers Conference. They were 14-13 a season ago. Over 200 career wins for Sieverding, who played at the University of Northern Iowa. Driving down Broadway, Simon dumps into the left corner for Carter Stevens. He connects and he's fouled. So after the goodwill and a hot start from St. Mary's, putting yesterday in their rearview mirror, Dubuque has picked up an intensity here since that lineup switch really for Robbie Sieverding. Team won 23 games in 2014 and 15, reached the national tournament that year, 22 victories in 2012, 2013, reaching the national tournament that season as well. Some under-the-radar teams here. St. Mary's and Dubuque. Greg Martin, jump stop, couldn't hit. That's the way things were going for St. Mary's the entire game yesterday. Zimmerman brings it up the floor for Dubuque. Has it angling right. Working on Rosner. Ball is loose and looks like it's out of bounds in front of the St. Mary's bench. Shot clock at 16. A couple of subs coming on for St. Mary's. 5 minutes into the first half. 12-7 Dubuque with the lead. They're the visitors on the scoreboard. So yesterday we had the clock over the secondary basket, not the one that Dubuque is working at right now, but the one to my right. Those were out. They're running today. And an offensive foul is called. Carter Stevens on the move. And it was Kevin Gleason who stepped in to draw the charge. Is a little shaken up, but is on his feet and jogging up the floor. Recently entered into the contest for St. Mary's. James Connolly and Jacob Chilson. Eli Cave averages right around 20 points per game. He'll try the three. Wide to the right. Dubuque lets it right out of bounds. Cave averaging 19.9 points per game and 5.1 rebounds. A very elite player in a difficult conference. The cutter to the hole is Simon. He can't finish, but his second opportunity does. (14-7), Dubuque doubling up St. Mary's. Mitch Berger led the Spartans yesterday with 16 points in that loss to Hanover. It was a back-and-forth defensive battle. 65-57, Hanover the victory. Dubuque forces the turnover. Zimmerman 1-on-2, tries to spin, lost the ball, out of bounds to St. Mary's. Yeah, Hanover led early in that ball game. Dubuque took the lead, carried that advantage into the second half, and then Hanover came from behind, ended up winning by 8. They outscored Dubuque by 11 in the second half. Hanover at 7-2. They'll play Wheaton at 4 o'clock today in the championship game of this first ever Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. That's a rematch of an NCAA tournament game last year, although it's a different Hanover squad. Knocked away from the driving Chilson, but a foul is called on Justin Smith reaching in. Tried to knock it away. Jacob Chilson visits the free throw line and converts on his first attempt. Chilson at 4.3 points per ball game as he hits them both. On his first 2 free throws of the season for St. Mary's. They are 2-1 on the road this year. Been very good at home in Winona, Minnesota, sitting at 4-1. Now, if you're not aware, that's going to be a tough place for Joe Fano to recruit because while Winona State plays in Winona, they're Division II and a Division II powerhouse at that. Jacob Chilson with his first foul. Third on St. Mary's. 13:27 to go first half. It's 14-9 in favor of Dubuque. Patrick Mayfield to the top of the arc. Peter Reagan has returned, ball in his left hand. Shot clock at 10. Carter Stevens waiting, has the screen coming from Smith. Pulls left, fires the three, rimming out. On the glass, it's Connolly for St. Mary's. Chilson with a shot fake, drives and runs into a crowd. It's an offensive foul. Smith was set, and Chilson drove right into him. Fourth foul on St. Mary's. Mitch Berger returns for Dubuque. Told you he had the big game yesterday. Berger is the team's leading scorer at 17 points per ball game. Reagan tries to work his way in as it knocked free. Dubuque right now trying to take advantage of the fact that Eli Cave is on the bench for St. Mary's. So they continue to work inside. A game yesterday between Hanover and Dubuque was a half-court battle for the most part. Free throws coming for Greg Martin, who's out of Oklahoma City. The roster for St. Mary's, of course, there are players from Minnesota. Told you about the ties to Illinois. They have Wisconsin, Oklahoma mixed into that mix as well. Dubuque, pretty much Iowa and Illinois. In fact, they have one player from Wisconsin, and Mason Horton. Big rivalry for Dubuque is against Loras College, as the jumper from Reagan misses left. The schools are separated by maybe 2 miles in Dubuque. Caden Freetley couldn't connect. Here comes Doherty the other way. Berger in the corner for three, draws iron. Elevating is Connolly on the glass. To the hole, Smith fouled. Take a look at the drive from Greg Martin, who just made a couple of free throws moments ago. Martin 9 of 13 from the stripe this season. He averages 5.9 points per game. Is second on the team with 20 assists. As he continues to whittle away at the deficit, St. Mary's has scored 4 straight. They were down 14-7. It's currently 14-11. One more toss coming for Martin, a junior. And his second is good. The lead is 2 at 14-12. And a hand check as Berger moves. That'll be the 5th foul on St. Mary's. First on Martin. Harper puts it in right next to us. Berger watching. Turnaround J, no good from Kay Doherty. Once again, leading the break is Martin. The cutter to the hole and a lot of contact. Who's got the call? It's going to be offensive. Once again, it's Justin Smith drawing the foul for Dubuque on the drive from Brady Stevens. Joe Fano pleading his case with the official. Yesterday there was a big contingency of St. Mary's fans here. They had a pregame event before their contest with Wheaton last night. Berger is denied. Out of bounds to St. Mary's. They honored an alum at halftime who's getting inducted into the Illinois Basketball Coaches Association Hall of Fame. Here's Sawyer Rosner. That was Jeff Norris, who was a men's basketball standout at St. Mary's. He's going to join his father, Ed, and his brother, Tom, with his induction on May 5th. Good look underneath. And the reverse finish from Chilson. We're all even at 14 apiece. Both teams shooting under 40% early in this one. Into the corner. Snyder looks. Shot clock's down to 10. Reagan ball in the right hand. Takes Strong to the hole. Up and underneath. No luck. Ball still free out of bounds with 2 on the shot clock. It'll stay with Dubuque. They've got a catch and shoot situation. Berger inbounds. Turnaround from Zimmerman is good. He had just enough time to deliver. Happy New Year to you. On this final day of 2019, it's the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Kareem Anthony Bello returns. And a little floater knots it again at 16. Three-pointer is good from Harper. Second three for Dubuque today. On the season, they're a team that shoots 37% from three-point range. To the hole, Martin takes again, couldn't finish. And now foul as Berger is tripped up. Take a look at the outset. And Kareem Anthony Bello is whistled for his second foul. It's the 7th, and that'll send Berger and Dubuque to the free throw line. Berger 33 of 43 this year, 76.7% from the line. He has been to the stripe more than any other member of this Dubuque squad. But a pretty good free throw shooting team. Dubuque at 72% overall. 1-1 here. Berger is good on the first. And he will have one more. That's his first point today. And he follows it up with number 2. Back to a 5-point edge. 21-16. It's 5 in a row for Dubuque. It is the consolation game of the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Contests were played last evening, so these teams with a quick turnaround. And Dubuque played at 5 o'clock yesterday, and they're playing at 2 o'clock today. Rosner wraps it around. Has it with 4 on the shot. Will unload the 3 and hit. Kind of a give and go with Pickford. He wrapped it around to Pickford, who sent it right back to him and deposited the three-pointer. Second of the day for St. Mary's. They were burned beyond the arc by Wheaton in the first half yesterday. Thunder were 9 of 11 in the first half in that 77-67 victory. Did not help St. Mary's in that rough start. And a 3 to answer from Dubuque. Lucas Harper in the corner. Harper with 3 first half threes, and it's 24-19. He leads all scorers at current with 9. Eli Cave on the move, left-handed finish. So Cave has the size of a post player. He has the shot of a perimeter player and the ability to drive like a guard as well. Such a tough matchup. And he's out defensively on Harper. 8 minutes to go in the ball game, first half. Zimmerman travels. And returning for Dubuque is Henry Thompson. At this point in the year, both teams pretty much done with their non-conference schedule after today. And pretty much all 4 teams for that matter. You're looking at, once you hit that new calendar year, all those contests, with some exceptions, are conference games. St. Mary's will be heading to Bethel for a matchup on Saturday. Dubuque travels to Wartburg, who's been a power in that conference of late. Berger racing ahead, leaves it up high for Zimmerman. Long 3, no. On the rise is Rosner. 7.5 to play in the first. Cave works, steps back, top of the key, ball in his right hand, help coming defensively, and a foul. Brock Simon commits the foul. It was Simon who was matched up one-on-one, and there you see the help coming from Dylan Hunley. Cave backing up, shot clock at 10. Has it again in the paint, has his defender bite and finishes. Zimmerman just looking to say, what in the heck just happened? I think he was anticipating some help. There was none as he bid on the shot fake. And an easy bucket for Cave makes it a 1-point game at 24-23. Simon slips up, has to adjust his shot and left it short against Connolly, but Connolly couldn't possess out of bounds. Shot clock at 20 for Dubuque as Peter Reagan runs on. Dubuque has a very deep rotation. Reagan works on Cave, bumps into him and finishes. Cade have it grip some ground. And Reagan makes him pay 26-23. Now pulling up and hitting is Pickford. Again, a one-point game. How about a three from Henry Thompson, a little long. Rosner in possession. Pickford off to the races. Leaves for Gleason in the corner. They'll rotate, and it's taken away. Good hands in the passing lane by Dylan Hundley. Trying to go coast to coast. Has it stripped away momentarily by the defense of Rosner. How about that defense for St. Mary's in transition? Cave crossing over, looking to give St. Mary's the lead. He drives and has it blocked. The help defense of Simon denies. Into the corner for a three. Thompson connects. Timeout. You block a shot for the lead, and then you come back and connect on a three-pointer in the corner. And it is a timeout, a full one. Well, both teams, of course, were watching yesterday's contest between their potential opponents. And you know that Dubuque was fully aware of the fact that Wheaton had a field day from beyond the arc early. Again, they led 19-2 in that contest, made 9 of 11 first half threes, finished the game 12 of 23, so St. Mary's tightened up defensively in the second half on the perimeter. But that is hardly going to stop Dubuque from trying to hit from the outside today. They are currently 4 of 9 from three-point range as you look in on the St. Mary's bench. Both teams have heated up. Remember, there was a point when they were under 40% collectively. Now Dubuque is at 43.5%, 10 of 23. And St. Mary's is 9 of 19, 47%. The difference is in the three-point range, where, as I said, Dubuque is shooting 44%. They're 4 of 9. St. Mary's 2 out of 4. Rebounds right now 13-10 in favor of Dubuque. And there's the Dubuque bench. Head coach Robert Sieverding rising from the middle. Lucas Harper with 9 points, pacing Dubuque at present. Eli Cave with 6, along with Sawyer Rosner for St. Mary's. In possession with the basketball, Pickford spots Cave, angles left. Top of the arc, crossing over, drives down the lane, and a pretty finish. Eli Cave. He is lethal with the ball in his hand. It's not often you see a guy of his size who has the ability to drive. You're going to see a lot of bodies attracted to him today. And not just today, but in the rest of the season for St. Mary's. Open look at a three from Carter Stevens. Offensive rebound for Hundley. And now here comes the three-point attempt from Reagan. And Cave will rip away the board. So Dubuque maybe now is trying to settle a little bit too much for those outside shots. They hold a 2-point lead with 4:33 to play in this first half, 29-27. Around the arc it goes for St. Mary's. Cave looking. It's one of the advantages of having a big man up top, the ability to see the whole floor. Rosner can't hit, off to the left. Simon controls for Dubuque. Here's Reagan driving towards the hole. Adjusts and scores. Switch from the left to the right. And the basket for Peter Reagan, the junior out of Orland Park, Illinois. He prepped at Joliet Catholic. Under 4 minutes to go, first half. Pickford on the move. Now it's Cave. He'll try to drive as well. Draws the crowd. Spots the open Gleason. His three is long. Connolly keeps the offensive rebound alive and finds the wide open Gleason, who scores. He was wide open. And now the drive from Stevens. He'll make his way towards the free throw line. Fouls on Sean Pickford, his second. 8 fouls on St. Mary's. Carter Stevens visiting the free throw line. First toss is in. Stevens yesterday finished with a couple of points for Dubuque. Second one no good. Cave in control. Picking up the dribble is Martin. Kicks it out. Three-pointer no good from Chilson, but an offensive rebound. And now Cave will try to respond. He draws iron, and it's out of bounds. It'll stay with St. Mary's. 3:03 to play. Couple of three-point attempts to try and tie the score here. In the corner, three-pointer, no good. Kevin Gleason misfired on the open look. Now Dubuque looks to counter. It's a three from Harper. His fourth first half three-pointer. Dubuque is not the first team that St. Mary's has faced in the American Rivers Conference. A three-pointer from Rosner, and this game is turning to an outside shooting festival. They won at Luther College, 103-97, back on November 30th. There's another three attempt, and good again. Lucas Harper, my goodness, what a first half. 38-32, he has hit 5 three-pointers. Ball is knocked away from the driving Chilson. The arms of Justin Smith deflecting it out of bounds. Hunter Snyder back, a freshman for Dubuque. It's a relatively young Dubuque team. Same can be said about St. Mary's, as this is thrown away. So you could say that really the non-conference results for these teams have been something of a surprise, probably to everybody who is not associated with those programs. Both teams have only 2 seniors. Closing in on the final 90 seconds of the first half. Stevens dribbles in, pulls up, 18-footer no. Cave looks to run, slows it down as he doesn't have the numbers, 1 on 4. Now he'll accelerate and spot in the corner. Ball rotates up high. Greg Martin takes to the hole, hit to the ground, and 2 shots upcoming. Greg Martin with 3 points today. All of those are from the line. Hits his first free throw. One more for Martin, good as well. 38-34. Up-tempo first half for both teams. Particularly for Dubuque, who managed just 57 in their loss to Hanover yesterday. Reagan will have a second opportunity, or does he? They're going to signal for what? A jump ball. And it is going to be St. Mary's basketball. The tie-up from Jacob Chilson. Dubuque is a team averaging 84 points per game, so they're not used to being slowed down like they were yesterday by Hanover. Cave passes on the three. We're in the final minute. Cave, left hand, no good. Berger controls for Dubuque. Ahead it goes, and a foul as Reagan attempted to score. Sawyer Rosner with his first foul. Reagan to the line, his first visit today. Perfect on attempt number 1. 5 points for him. And the second one no good. Rebound loose on the floor. And St. Mary's calling for a timeout. So they'll have the final possession of this first half. On the 32nd timeout. Surprised they're not going to reset the shot clock to 30. I don't know that possession was really controlled until that timeout. So there is about a 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. American Rivers Conference, dominated the last couple of years by Nebraska Wesleyan, won the national title 2 years ago. Loris had a nice NCAA tournament run last year. Mentioned Wartburg, they've been very successful of late as well. It's a very good conference. And they did indeed, by the way, reset that shot clock to 30 during the stoppage, so St. Mary's can take it all the way down. Into the corner it goes. Cave cuts to the free throw line, out for the three. Gleason denied, and we're heading to the half. 39-35 is our score. Good job defensively by Dubuque to close out on the three-point attempt from Gleason as we head to halftime with the score, Dubuque 39, St. Mary's 34. Stats coming your way in a bit. This is the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament.
Be inspired as you seek to make a difference in the lives of children as an elementary, middle, or high school teacher.
Be challenged by a strong academic program that prepares you for the leadership skills needed to lead a classroom.
Be equipped with the strategies and tools from experienced professors in a program that boasts a 100% passing rate for all licensure exams.
Be inspired to lead others to the Christian faith as professional English language teachers serving across the globe.
Be challenged as you dive deep into learning about other cultures while understanding how to create the bridge between English and the native language of your students.
Be equipped as you gain valuable skills and lessons from leading researchers and teachers in the field who have decades of experience and whose work spans 6 continents.
Be inspired by diving deep into the study of the Bible and understanding the theology behind our faith.
Be challenged with advanced study of biblical and theological knowledge.
Be equipped to expand your knowledge, build your academic skills, develop critical reflection, and serve for Christ in His kingdom.
Be inspired as you grow in your ministry and collaborate with other leaders like you.
Be challenged, stretch your thinking, and deepen your understanding of your mission.
Be equipped to raise your level of leadership as you raise up faithful followers of Christ.
Be inspired to serve a world filled with justice and suffering.
Be challenged with a rigorous academic program that trains you to analyze psychological theory and research from a faith-based worldview and apply it to serve the needs of individuals and families in need of healing.
Be equipped to integrate your Christian faith and practice with the best of contemporary scholarship and professional standards in the disciplines of clinical psychology, counseling, and marriage and family therapy.
One word I'd use to describe my Wheaton experience is purposeful. And I say purposeful because through people and experiences here, the Lord has been teaching me to reorient my desires and aspirations for work in His kingdom.
Flourishing. I chose the word flourishing because of the specific leadership and mentorship opportunities I've experienced at Wheaton, and how they've allowed me not only to grow here, but given me the confidence to navigate life after Wheaton.
Winning. I chose the word winning because I feel like all my friends and professors have encouraged me to have a winning mindset.
Full. I chose the word full because my Wheaton College experience has been full of mentorship and friendship here, and I've been left with intergenerational friendship that I'm going to take with me for the rest of my life.
Transformative. The reason why I chose the word transformative is because of all the ways I've been influenced by my professors, my peers, and my friends at my time at Wheaton.
Rooted. The reason I chose the word rooted is because I am leaving Wheaton grounded in both my faith and calling.
Unexpected. The reason I chose this word is because I expected to be challenged by Wheaton's academics, but I wasn't expecting how I would be challenged and grown through Wheaton's athletics, student life, and student engagement.
Deep. I chose the word deep because of the deep relationships I've been able to build with friends and all the people I've been able to meet at Wheaton.
Holistic. I chose that word because Wheaton has taken my education and my vision for my life, and it's expanded it and shaped it physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually in every way.
Journey. The reason why I chose Journey is because of the many highs and lows that I've experienced here at Wheaton. These highs and lows are a taste of what life after Wheaton is going to be like, and this is why I love Wheaton.
I'm Tim Calderwood, back from King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College in Wheaton, Illinois. Consolation game of the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Dubuque 39, St. Mary's 34. In the opening round yesterday, St. Mary's allowed Wheaton to knock down 9 first-half three-pointers. Today, Dubuque hit 6 first-half threes, 5 of those from Luke Harper. I would imagine Joe Fano's halftime conversation had something to go like this. Somebody please close out on him. 5 out of 6 from three-point range for Harper, 15 points a game high in the first half. Dubuque shooting 43%. They were 7 of 9 at the line. St. Mary's +1 on the glass, 19-18. Sawyer Rosner with 9 points. Eli Cave with 8 on the St. Mary's side. They were 7 of 8 from the free throw line. St. Mary's with 16 points in the paint. We had 5 ties and 1 lead change. Dubuque picked to finish 5th in the preseason American Rivers Conference poll. St. Mary's slotted 7th in the Minnesota Intercollegiate Athletic Conference under second-year head coach Joe Fano. Again, we talked about the improvement that this team has made over a couple of years. But not the doormats they once were, that's for sure. Gone are the days of a one-win team. It'll be Dubuque basketball to start the second half. Mitch Berger in possession. As the Spartans return the starting 5 to the floor. Berger, top of the key. A lot of hands up for St. Mary's, active defensively. Berger is all alone, though, for 3. That may have been partially blocked, or was it? No. Berger perhaps saw the defender coming and just did not get a very good look at it, reacting before his shot was taken. And so it is a missed three to open the second half. Cave, spin move underneath the basket, gets his defender to bite again, not once but twice. Justin Smith biting on Eli Cave's move. 39-36, and there's a late whistle. It's on Sawyer Rosner. That is his second. Fouls weren't really an issue in the first half. Justin Smith picked up 2 rather quickly for Dubuque. He was limited to just 8 minutes of action. Patrick Mayfield, 2 in just 2 minutes off the bench as a reserve for Dubuque. We went 14 deep in the first half. "12 deep make it. My math skills are not my strongest, my friends." Both free throws are good there. It's 41-36. Pickford slowed up on the drive as he feeds Gleason high right. Cave in the corner. Back out it goes as St. Mary's resets. In the corner, the three-pointer coming from Kareem Anthony Bello is good. Kareem Anthony Bello, a Chicago area product, 31% on threes this year. Cave forces the shot to adjust. Smith's putback won't go. And a tie-up on the rebound. Again at 4 o'clock, it's the championship game. Hanover and Wheaton. That contest is a rematch of an NCAA tournament game a year ago. Cave, down Broadway, lobs it underneath and denied. The 5th block by Dubuque. The first from Peter Reagan as he swats this one out of play. 15 to work with. Pickford on the baseline. Curling right. Kareem Anthony Bello dribbles in, shot clock winding down, misses wide left. Dubuque on the glass. Berger into the corner, stripped. Kareem Anthony Bello on the steal. Pickford in transition, ties the score. .41 aside, that's our 6th tie today. Reagan underneath, fouled. Kevin Gleason with his first foul. Peter Reagan, 1 of 2 at the stripe today for Dubuque. It's the first. He's the second leading scorer for Dubuque on the season at just under 14 points per game. Their leading scorer, Mitch Berger, was limited to only 2 in the first half, but he didn't need to score because of Luke Harper's outside shooting. Dubuque back in front. And it's a 1-point lead. Eli Cave controls. That's his game-high 6th rebound. Kareem Anthony Bello draws iron on his 3. Henry Thompson on the glass. 3 minutes into the second half. Berger tries an awkward-looking 3. Cave there again. It's kind of a quick release. Pickford looks for the corner. Knocked away. Berger, the no-look bounce pass. Unable to finish. Henry Thompson. You get that arm of Reagan to knock it away. Berger in transition. The bounce pass to Thompson. And I don't know if Cave blocked it, got a piece of it or not, but he was there enough to force the miss at the very least. And again, when you see that 6'7" frame coming out of the corner of your eye, look out. What's crazy is that both of these teams really haven't tried to get the ball inside. It's been a very perimeter-oriented game. And also a half-court contest. Pickford has it knocked away. And a foul. It was right through the hands of Rosner. And then Pickner ran into Harper. Pickford the inbounder. 42-41 the score. Dubuque by 1. And a foul on Dubuque. Second foul on Lucas Harper. And now an offensive foul underneath. Second foul on James Connolly. Dylan Hunley enters for Dubuque. Dubuque at 7-3 entering play today. St. Mary's sitting 6-2. $15:50 to play. Berger drives to the hole, dumps into the corner. Harper with another three-pointer. Timeout Dubuque. Full timeout. My goodness. So yesterday, Harper came off the bench, and he was only 1 of 4 from the floor. Today, he's in the starting lineup, and he has knocked down 6 three-pointers for a game-high 18 points. 45-41 on the board. Dubuque in front by 4. In the second half of this one, again, Hanover and Wheaton coming up in a little bit. 4 o'clock starts. What should be an entertaining contest there. It's a very light slate of action across the nation, as you might understand. With it being New Year's Eve, I would say about 20 games or so across the nation. Ranked teams involved in 4 of those, one of which was an upset. Olivet knocked off Carthage 88-73 today. And Milliken is hanging with Wash U. Those are CCIW teams. Wash U ranked 10th in the country. It's 31-28 Wash U over Milliken at halftime. It's the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament here. Consolation game, Dubuque and St. Mary's. Iowa, Minnesota, Indiana represented here in the suburbs of Chicagoland. Good coverage in the Midwest. Connolly picks up the dribble, has it knocked away. Shot clock half gone. Here's Rosner for 3 and an out. Simon had it, but it was knocked away. Recovers in transition in the corner. Zimmerman passing on the 3, drives in and plows over the top of his defender. What's crazy about that, Pickford was on the floor. He got back up to his feet and drew the charge just seconds later. (45-41). Greg Martin has entered. He had a busy first half. Jumper no good from Kareem Anthony Bello. Both teams are now under 40% for the game as the pace is significantly slowed down here early in the second. Berger retreats, shot clock under 10, takes to the hole, scoops and no good, but there to tap it in is Keegan Zimmerman. Just kind of floating up and guiding it back into the bucket. 47-41, the jump stop for Martin, and he scores. And now Berger leads it way too strong. He was looking for Dylan Hundley. 47-43. Carter Stevens on for Dubuque, his first second half appearance. Martin takes his time walking up the floor. Working along the baseline, looking for Cave, it's tapped away. Shot clock under 10. Martin now moves again. Works it onto the left wing and a block, but a foul as well on the three-point attempt from Brady Stevens. Contact after the shot. You saw it. Brock Simon. And that'll be 3 free throws upcoming for Brady Stevens, who is a junior out of St. James, Minnesota. First one is in for Stevens, who is appearing in his 6th game of the season. He's 1 of 2 at the line. (47-45). And a one-point game. There is, by the way, an all-tournament team that will be announced. Visit your respective school's website, I'm sure, for all the details on that. We'll not carry that ceremony live after the ball game. It's going to be a quick kind of presentation more than anything else. Carter Stevens on the move. And a foul as he drives. Greg Martin with the foul. 47-46, Dubuque leading by 1. Some of the games Dubuque has played this year, 3 times they've scored over 100 points. They lost to Nebraska Wesleyan 88-63. Carter Stevens with a runner. They've gotten past Simpson, though, in conference play. Gleason on the miss. Offensive rebound for St. Mary's. Simpson was expected to be one of the surprise teams, perhaps, in the American River Conference this year. Got a lot of looks in the preseason for top 25 votes. Eli Cave making his way to the line. After the foul on Harper, his 3rd. All of those have come here in the second half. Full disclosure, I'm a voter in the D3Hoops.com top 25 on the men's side. Martin, nice spin move. Unable to finish, though. Zimmerman sprinting ahead. He had a big first half on the glass. Three-pointer coming, all iron on the miss. And it'll be St. Mary's ball off of the Henry Thompson triple attempt. Hunter Snyder returns for Dubuque. And we're seeing a zone look now from the Spartans. Martin in the corner trying to beat it with a 3, left it short. Cave knocks it away, chasing down the loose ball. Brock Simon. It was his pass that was missed initially. Inside, the adjustment and the basket. Reagan actually had it knocked out of his hands on his way up. He was still able to convert in the air. And it's 51-46. Gleason draws the crowd. Free throw line extended. Jumper no good from Caden Freetley. Out of control and a travel as Reagan lost his footing. Scorer's table calling over the officials to talk. Stevens for three. Underneath, the cleanup from Greg Martin. Greg Martin for three. Nope. Nearly thrown away by Rosner. Returning for Dubuque is Justin Smith. Cave backing up. He's had a quiet second half so far. Iron on the three-point attempt from Sawyer Rosner. Here comes Dubuque looking to press. Cave with a swat. Rebound to Martin. He's got some room in front, trying to slow down 1-on-3. Around the arc it goes. Now Cave will draw into the zone. Is it a block or a charge? They're signaling block. Score the goal. Both Justin Smith and Reagan tried to step in and draw the charge. It's the third foul on Justin Smith. Mitch Berger back for Dubuque. And Cave trying to finish off the three-point play. And he does. Eli Cave with 5 second-half points. We're tied at 51. Midpoint of the second half. Berger rifles his way down the left side of the lane, has it knocked away. Brady Stevens feeds the cutter. What an adjustment by Greg Martin. Back in front, St. Mary's 53-51. This is a West Regional game, by the way. Both of these teams play in the West Region. Berger with the answer. Now the NCAA has completely changed how they look at regional games, recognizing that teams like to take trips and whatnot. No good on the right-handed attempt from Martin. But still, these are both teams in the West region. In the championship game, you'll have Hanover's in the Great Lakes region and Wheaton who's in the Central. The three-pointer coming from Kareem Anthony Bello, no. Instead, he's going to give it to Cave and a travel. See, I think the new rule is 70% of your games, as long as they're in region, then everything else will count as regional games as well. So you can have games against East Coast opponents, for example, that can count. So, for example, you used to play a team, say there was a team regionally ranked out east, would not count in your regional rankings even if you scored the victory as a win against a regionally ranked foe. So that changed quite a few years ago. There's a lot of talk about restructuring the regions again. Smith fouled. Cave can't believe it. That's going to be his first. Justin Smith, 2 first-half points. 7 of 13 at the line this season. Perfect on his first. Here's Kevin Gleason returning for St. Mary's. Second one nowhere near the bucket. Rosner gets it ahead to Pickford, sprinting into the corner for Kareem Anthony Bello. Back to Pickford. Cave wants it against the zone. Three-pointer coming is good. Kareem Anthony Bello knocks down the three. The only way to force a team out of the zone is to knock down those outside shots. 56-54, St. Mary's back in front. Ball is free on the deck. Dubuque recovers. Here's a three from Berger that's perfect. Wow. Berger had a big game from beyond three-point range yesterday. He knocked down 4 triples. On his way to 16 points in that loss to Hanover. And with 8:17 to play, we have a timeout on the floor. A timeout for Dubuque, who is 8 of 19 from three-point range. They hit 6 first-half threes and just 2 so far here in the second. And again, that was an adjustment for St. Mary's defensively in the locker room yesterday as well to kind of tighten up around the perimeter. Both teams have made 11 free throws. St. Mary's +2 on the glass at 32-30. Dubuque right now 1-1 in the American Rivers Conference. Loras and Nebraska Wesleyan sitting 3-0. Nebraska Wesleyan ranked 8th. Loras receiving votes. But Nebraska Wesleyan lost their last game. If you're wondering, I told you I was a voter, am a voter in the D3Hoops.com Top 25. The next poll will come out on this upcoming Monday. 1 week from yesterday. So what is that, the 6th? We received the results of all the games around the country in an email on Sunday night. If you're curious how that process works, you're allowed to vote for whoever, but we get an email with, I don't know, probably 50 or so teams. You have the current top 25 and their results, and then 25 or so teams with their results as well that you can put into consideration, although of course you're allowed to vote for whoever you desire. (57-56), Dubuque by 1. I'm Tim Calderwood with you from King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College in the Chicagoland suburbs. A switch to a zone for Dubuque and a three-pointer short from Rosner. Offensive rebound denied as Kareem Anthony Bello went back up. And St. Mary's will huddle quickly. Henry Thompson back for Dubuque. Three-pointer on the way up high, good from Rosner. (59-57), that's the 6th three for St. Mary's. They've come from Rosner and Anthony Bello, 4 from Rosner now. And he has reached double digits with 12. Cave with 13, Rosner with 12. And Greg Martin with 11 for St. Mary's. Luke Harper will have 3 shots. He is the only Dubuque player in double figures with 17. He's a perfect 2 of 2 at the line today as he converts on attempt number 1. Out of Belvedere, Illinois, in the northwest corner of the state. That's probably the closest city, I would say, to Dubuque. I mean, Galena, I guess, is closer, but You're talking about a major metropolitan area. Rockford's about an hour and a half or so from Dubuque. So when you take the trip up 90 from Chicagoland and hit Rockford first, and then it's about another hour and a half from there through the rather treacherous at times drive on Route 20. If you go that way, I guess from where we are here in the western suburbs as well, you could go straight west towards the Quad Cities and then up north. Depends on the day, as they say. Kareem Anthony Bello, foul. Bonus time, that's the 7th foul on Dubuque. The fouls are piling up for both squads. Kareem Anthony Bello has not visited the line today. He's a 63% shooter this year as he puts St. Mary's in front by a point, 60-59. I think they're trying to check who the foul was on. Scoreboard has that foul whistled against Luke Harper, which would be his 4th. Short on attempt number 2 for Kareem Anthony Bello. I did see Joe Fano at the Hinsdale Central Holiday Tournament at one of DePaul Prep's games. How about Berger driving to the hole? Again, they've developed a little bit of a pipeline to DePaul Prep here in Chicago with Raheem Anthony and Kareem Anthony Bello. Foul number 3 whistled on Sean Pickford. Berger completes the 3-point play, and it's back and forth we go. 62-60 now. Dubuque back in front. Entertaining ball game here in the consolation contest. Should have a good one in the championship game as well, in a rematch of last year's NCAA first round tournament game. Travel. As I mentioned, coming into this tournament, it was a little surprising that a combined 7 losses between these teams, because you look at what St. Mary's did last year, they're 8-19, and Dubuque was about a 500 team. Dubuque able to get a timeout to save the possession, and Peter Reagan is very upset. But it's resulted in a very competitive tournament. Now, the scores yesterday were closer than perhaps, at least the champion, or the Wheaton game was closer than the contest was actually played. I don't know that St. Mary's really ever had a chance to win that game after falling behind by 17 points midway through the first half. But to their credit, went back to the drawing board in the locker room, came out strong in the second half and made it competitive at least. Tim Martin's going to come join me between games today for game 2. So you're going to get T to the power of 2. I think that's what we're going to call it, T to the power of 2. I don't know where Harper was going. The only man with position on that one was Rosner. Cave taking all the way, and a foul. Fouls on Reagan, that is his first. Left-handed free throw from Cave is good. He's a 60% shooter at the line this year. He's been to the free throw line more than any other player on this St. Mary's squad. 43 visits. Now 2 of 2 from there today. 14 points in the ball game for Cave to go with 8 rebounds. And we're all even at 62 aside. As I mentioned, this has been a competitive ball game. Back and forth we go. My gosh. Berger across the stripe. Rolling right around a screen from Zimmerman, who is left alone in front of the Dubuque bench. 3 is long. Martin elevates for the rebound as it knocked away from behind, as he looked to accelerate his way down to the floor and create something in transition. Closing in on 6 minutes left. Dubuque has stayed in that zone here in the second half. An opening and a foul. So we talked about sometimes you have to shoot a team out of a zone. The way to actually attack it without kind of playing into your hands, because that's part of what the zone does, is it forces you to shoot from outside. You can beat the zone with some crisp passes to find some kind of mid-range openings. As Martin hits his first free throw. He's now 7 of 8 at the line today. Most of his scoring has come from the free throw line today. Splits it. 1 point lead, 63-62. Berger accelerates. Reagan with a shot fake. Into the corner for Zimmerman. Now Berger out high with the shot clock half gone. Reagan again, curling right, directing traffic. It's at 10. Play call comes from the bench. Berger pulls up, 18-footer wide left. Sneaking in, trying to get the rebound, but falling into his teammates was Dylan Hunley. At least St. Mary's basketball with 5:39 to play, up a point. Kind of a swing game for both of these teams, really, in terms of their seasons, right? The timing of this tournament, and one of the reasons why Wheaton head coach Mike Schauer wanted it, is to provide his team with an opportunity to have some games before reopening conference play. And Wheaton has a big one with North Central coming up on Saturday. Shot clock at 8. Cave directing traffic. Cutter into the corner. Three-pointer from Stevens. No. Offensive rebound, though, is good underneath for Sawyer Rosner. Rebound number 8 for Rosner. He has 14. And a 65-62 lead for St. Mary's. Bouncer underneath into the corner. Doherty will try the three. No. Rebound tapped away. Kareem Anthony Bello lost the handle. Turnovers piling up for these clubs as well. They've now had 10 ties and 8 lead changes in the game. Three-pointer short, but following his shot, Dylan Hunley will give his team a second chance. The largest lead by either team was 7, and that was very early from Dubuque at 14-7. This is the largest lead for St. Mary's at 3, 65-62, and they'll force the turnover. That's the 13th turnover for Dubuque in the game. A lot of bodies refreshing for each side. Patrick Mayfield, Carter Stevens, Brock Simon on for Dubuque. Kevin Gleason returns for St. Mary's. How about Martin all the way to the hole, couldn't finish. Under 4 minutes to go. Berger crossing over to the right side. 3 for the tie. No. Gleason quickly ahead to Martin. And he'll slow it down to Cave. St. Mary's slowing down the pace. St. Mary's calling for a timeout with 3:29 to go. Joe Fano was right on top of the official calling for the timeout, but of course that was a rule change a couple of years ago, that it has to be a player on the floor once the ball is in play. (65-62) the score. Both teams at under 40%. As you get a look at the New Year's Eve crowd. And a Happy New Year to you. Stay safe tonight. When you wake up, guess what? It's a new year. Isn't that like the oldest joke in the book? I'll see you next year. 65-62, St. Mary's in front. Wheaton will still be on break. Most schools are still on break for at least another week or so. That's another reason why this tournament timing-wise is important, as mentioned, to kind of get a couple of games under your belt. You have that long layoff for the Christmas holiday. So for St. Mary's, they had last played on December 19th, so prior to last night it was an 11-day layoff. Dubuque played a little bit later. They were at Northwestern St. Paul on December 21st, but still a 9-day layoff for them going into yesterday. It's kind of a hard thing to do. I once heard it referred to as basketball is a sport where there's really 3 seasons. The jump stop for Martin, and oh no, in and out. Zimmerman trying to fight for the rebound, jump ball, arrow to Dubuque. So you have your preseason and your first month and a half or whatever. And then you have the Christmas season, which happens after finals, right? So kids go on break. And you have that period of just finals and kind of being able to focus only on basketball until the second semester starts. And then you have the rest of the year. It's really kind of interesting how basketball is layered in such a way. And if we think about it as well in terms of winter sports, I mean, basketball is really the only team sport where that happens. Brady Stevens with his second foul sends Patrick Mayfield to the line. First free throw is good from Mayfield in this bonus situation. Yeah, I mean, wrestling is another sport where you would have the crossover from, one calendar year into the next. But otherwise, every other sport, even what is quote-unquote the winter sports, in my case, I deal a lot with lacrosse. They get started in February. Men's volleyball gets started in February, too. So basketball is very unique in that regard. They're really the only sport that has that kind of situation. Rosner for 3. Rebound is loose, and it's Dubuque ball. Brady Stevens tried to chase. There's Kareem Anthony Bello back for St. Mary's. Peter Reagan returns for Dubuque as well. 1-point game with 2:45 to go. Buckle up. I mean, to some regards, right, you have baseball and softball and track and field in the spring. Jumper wide left. I guess track and field's kind of that way too, because a lot of teams now are competing in December, at least in one event, to give them a chance to kind of get the year underway. But baseball and softball is kind of the opposite. In a lot of cases, if you're having a good run, it's coming when the school year's over. Cave trying to back his way in. Left-handed hook, short. Put back, no. Martin fighting for the rebound, and is it a jump ball, a travel, or a foul? And I think it's going to be a foul as the St. Mary's bench is applauding. Brock Simon with a foul. And it'll be super bonus time now the rest of the way for Greg Martin. Table clarifying that it was indeed 2 shots, just so the officials are away. Martin, 7 of 9 at the free throw line today. He has been there more than anyone else in this game. And now 14 points as the lead is back to 3 at 67-64. Sean Pickford returns. 2:10 to play. St. Mary's up 3. Berger picks up his dribble. Rotates right. Harper driving baseline. Kicks into the corner. Wide open look for Carter Stevens to knock it down. And this game is tied. My goodness. Three-pointer number 9 in the game for Dubuque. And a turnover just like that as well. Now under 2 minutes to go. And again, in about a half an hour time, it'll be Hanover and Wheaton in the championship game of this Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament. Berger takes to the hole and 1. He flexes his muscle. A It's one fired up Mitch Berger, the junior out of Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Attended Xavier High School. This to make it a 3-point lead. (70-67). Plenty of time left. $1:25 feels like an eternity. Head fake, knocked away, coming towards me. Hello, Brady Stevens. He'll handle the inbound right next to me. As I twiddle my pen in the background. Sean Pickford, top of the key. Angling right. 1:10 left. Shot clock at 13 for St. Mary's. Gleason comes and gets it. Pickford again, lobbing underneath. And a travel. No Eli Cave on the floor right now for St. Mary's, and you can tell they seem a little bit hesitant without him about where the ball should go, particularly in the post. Final minute, Dubuque by 3. Timeout Dubuque. .54 seconds to go. It's a full timeout. Quick preview of that Wheaton-Hanover game coming up. Last year, Wheaton with an 84-7-3 victory at the College of Worcester in Ohio. It was the 20th win of the season for Wheaton. And, of course, Wheaton last year rode Aston Francis all the way to the Final Four. He had 42 points in that ball game. Hanover had a multiple-time All-American as well as Cam Fales. He graduated, finished with 12 points in that affair. Neither of those two players are with their team at current, but both are surging. In fact, Wheaton right now is unbeaten in the CCIW, and they have a huge one coming up on Saturday against North Central, so they'd love to go into that on a victory. And again, more than anything else, these games were to try and keep them ready for those affairs. Hence the timing of this being a late tournament. They always have a tip-off tournament here at Wheaton College. This year, the annual Lee Fund Classic featured Franklin, Wisconsin River Falls, and Principia. Wheaton streaks to an 86-60 win over River Falls in the championship of that game tournament. They last played at home on November 23rd before a long stretch of games away, returning to down North Park 84-50. And they'll head into the hostile environment at North Central on Saturday. But if ever there's a time when you want to play at North Central, it'll be over break. Usually that is a packed game. In football, it's a rivalry game. They play for the Little Brass Bell. Shot clock under 10. Stevens pulls up wide to the left. Rebound for Rosner. 36 seconds for St. Mary's to try and tie. Driving down Broadway. Martin missed the layup. And a quick rebound for Dubuque. Brock Simon cleaned it up, and then the foul will send Dubuque to the free throw line. 10th foul on St. Mary's. And free throws coming for Peter Reagan. No good on the first attempt. That's a big miss. Now this one becomes huge. As Gleason returns for St. Mary's. Reagan takes his time, sizes it up, follows through. And the lead is 4, 71-67. Here's Pickford taking off across half court. Has to hurry, 24 seconds to go. Drives to the hole. Denied! Brock Simon with a swat and a foul on St. Mary's. Caught the tail end of the replay there. But Brock Simon denied the drive. And now Dubuque can all but ice it at the line with Hunter Snyder, a freshman to the stripe. (72-67). (73-67). Cave, top of the key, pulls up, leans in, three-pointer no. Rebound loose, Berger possesses. Berger races away, down to 8 seconds. He's wrapped up by Gleason. Two shots for Berger. (74-67). (75). Cave with the final 5 seconds, jogs ahead, takes to the hole, finishes the layup with 0.2 of a second. Ball is inbounded, and the game is over. Dubuque wins the consolation contest of the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament by the final score of 75-69. They'll head back to American Rivers Conference action on Saturday against Wartburg with a record of 8-3, while St. Mary's drops both games here at Wheaton, falling to 6-3. And the championship contest comes your way next between Wheaton and Hanover. Hope you enjoyed the broadcast. As I said, Game 2 coming your way in about a half an hour. We'll talk to you in a bit. From King Arena on the campus of Wheaton College, I'm Tim Calderwood. This is the Wheaton Thunder Holiday Tournament.